Certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankum. It's going to be a fun one today. We're going to be tackling TV shows that are either based on or spun out of movies. There's a lot more than what you may think. But we've got a great panel here. We've got Chris. Chris, how's it going?
Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm Chris. You do get to jump when we go to me first. But here to have fun. Love this topic. I love TV show based on movie. So let's have fun.
Also here we've got JPO. JPO, how's it going?
Oh, just wonderful. I really wonder what shows Chad's going to bring up.
Speaking of which, we've also got Chad here. Chad, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. Yeah, I love a lot of these things, that TV shows that are based on movies. And hey, we have Jackie Daytona in the building, just a regular, normal human person. So there you go.
And last but not least, we've got Nicholas Hernandez. Nicholas, how's it going?
I'm doing all right, man. This is gonna be fun. I imagine that we won't come up with a definitive list, and everybody's gonna be wildly different. So this is gonna be interesting to see all the different, because it's a massive topic to kind of narrow down into just 12.
I mean, it is, but it's also one of those ones, a topic we've never done before. So it's always going to be, it's always fun.
It's gonna be a blast, I think.
Yeah, but with that being said, how the show works is we each take turns nominating a movie, a TV show that's based on a movie, and then everyone will say yes or no to it, and we'll make the short list, and then at the end we rank the 12 that make the list. And with that being said, Chris, I go to you first.
So, you see my name. Anybody get this from What We Do in the Shadow? Had to bring up What We Do in the Shadow. It's one of the most funniest shows on TV right now. The movie is based on a phenomenal movie. I actually like the show a little bit better than the movie. I think the cast is memorable. Guillermo, Nadia, Laszlo, like all of these characters are lovable, likable. The joke actors are hysterical. As I say, Jackie Turner, the Mark Hamill episode, one of the most funniest episodes in any TV show in recent years. Like, I direct Jackie Turner, regular bartender who owned a bar, who teach on the Super Bowl episode. Everything made land so hard, especially this season. The musical references this season are really funny. Like I vote for it. Like, yeah, I've never seen the show movie. Definitely check it out. I had to bring up my personal number one favorite show based on the movie. So yeah, What We Do in Shadow.
Hi, I'm Malcolm, and I'm going to say, Jordan, what do you think?
Oh shit! It's just Mike's just not working anymore.
Oh.
That's exactly what I said. I didn't realize that my mic was muted until at first I thought JP was just making fun of me for something.
No. But no, big yes for me. This would have been an early suggestion for me as well in the first couple of rounds. So absolutely very funny show, great cast. Hard to say I like it better than the movie. I think it's unfair because we've gotten seasons to fall in love with these characters. But yeah, absolutely big yes for me.
Chad, what do you say about What We Do in the Shadows?
Yeah, What We Do in the Shadow. Like I love this one. This was number 4 on my list. I haven't really ranked them, but it was like listed 4th. I love all of the characters, all of the jokes are just so funny. Nandor with his fucking guy. I just love all of that. I love how it has Guillermo actually have an arc in the show. And I'm not gonna spoil it, but when he starts to do things that he doesn't know how he can do these things, and There's just a lot of really funny stuff like that. A lot of really fun cameos. And yeah, it's based off of a really great movie, but I think the show is just right on par with the movie, and it's all just really top notch. Vampire horror comedy. So yeah, definitely.
And hey, we officially confirmed Wesley Snipes is a vampire. In the show.
Right.
But Nick, what do you say about What We Do in the Shadows?
You know what? I've not seen this show and I've not seen this movie, but purely based on how Taika Waititi's style of humor doesn't really vibe with me that well, I'm gonna have to say no on this one. I'm pretty sure I'm outnumbered, so that's neither here nor there. But yeah.
For me to say no to this, it'll be Sacrilege New Zealand. But What We Do in the Shadows, it's like it. I mean, it's hard to. It's not really like better than the movie, but it's kind of a good add-on. And expanding on that universe. There's like Taika, Jermaine Clement, and that all did make cameos throughout the series as they went on, and it's just a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, just with the characters like Colin Robinson, was a lot of fun. Especially the arc he had in season 4 is just the weirdest one. I don't know what happened. Like, if the actor was busy doing something else at the time, or he just wasn't available, so they had to do something weird with that character. But it worked. It really worked. But What We Do in Shadows is making this list. And I'm JPO. We go to you for your next first nomination.
Jordan.
And JPO, you're muted.
Is it my turn? What are we doing?
You're going to nominate a TV show that you think belongs.
Okay, now I'm just making sure. Sorry, I had to step away for a second. I'll be good now. I'm tempted to hold off because I have a feeling someone else might bring it up, but I want to nominate it.
Do it.
I'm going to say Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
You muted.
Great show. Movie's just so fun, but the main character is the reason we fall in love. They redid it in the right way. Maybe we'll mention Joss Whedon, but great show. I had one to be the one that nominated Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
But Chad, what do you say about Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
I mean, you don't really have to ask,
funny
but
you
you
said
did
no.
anyways. This was going to be the first one nominated because I think it's just one of the greatest television shows ever made. I've loved this show since I was freaking 12 years old. It's the reason why, or one of the reasons why, I'm with my current wife now. It's just a really big show in our eyes. And it really kind of changed the game in television. And from a movie that's like an early 90s classic, but like not really known to be like that great. And then the movie just kind of like ushered in like the new wave of like television shows. And yeah, the cast is fantastic. Sarah Michelle Gellar is a star in this. 7 like nearly perfect, I'd say nearly perfect seasons. It's, scary, funny, super dramatic, touches on a lot of great themes, and I can go on and on about my favorite show of all time, but I won't. So yes, Buffy is.
But Nick, what do you say about Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Again, going to one I haven't seen, but I've definitely heard about. Everybody sings the praises of this show. I have been tempted to watch it. I just haven't gotten to it yet. So I will go ahead and agree to nominate, just because I know, just based on word of mouth, how good this show is. So.
Yeah, this is one that I've been meaning to watch multiple times, but I just haven't got around to it. It's on Disney Plus. I'll get to it eventually. I've seen the movie. But Chris, what do you say about Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
So I haven't seen every season of Buffy. I've seen like the first couple of seasons. I love the show. I definitely want to do it. I need to go back to watch all of them. But I will say yes for watching. I love it. I love the main character. Love the acting. I love the action. It's a fun show. One of the better Joss Whedon stuff.
I mean, you can dislike the guy, but he makes some wonderful shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But with that, we go into Chad. Tell us why Blade the series is good to continue on the vampire train.
Well, I don't know about that, but I am going to talk about another one that is in my top 5 of shows of all time. I'm going to go with Friday Night Lights. This show is, I don't know. I finally got around to watching it. I didn't watch it like as it was airing, but I got to it like much later, like when it was like on Netflix or something. But as soon as I watched this show, I fell in love with this thing. It just has like the most heart. One of the best catchphrases ever with Clear Eyes, Full Hearts Can't Lose. I say that now when I do trivia matches because, it's just a really great like motto. I love, the characters, Ride or Die, Matt Saracen. He's now doing a lot of Zach Gilford's doing a lot of like Mike Flanagan stuff because Mike Flanagan adores Friday Night Lights and loves Matt Saracen. It's not just about football. It's, a drama about like, just this small town, people, thinking that they can never make it out of the small town and just, drama that goes on with, boosters trying to, get a Jumbotron over like, other things that a school actually might need. So there's like school issues, there's football issues, there's small town, life issues. And it's just, this is one of the most uplifting shows that you could ever watch. You get like a really, really early Michael B. Jordan in it. And it's just so many great. And this gave Jesse Plemons his start. So a lot of really great actors.
Whoa, like Mike gave him his start.
Okay, fine. All right. But he had a really fantastic role in Friday Night Lights. So no disrespect to like Mike. But yeah, I adore this show. If you haven't seen it, please check it out because you won't regret it, and it will be one of the best decisions you've ever made. So there you
go. Nick, what do you say about Friday Night Lights?
Talking about lists never being the same. We got another one that I just haven't seen. Haven't even seen the movie. I'm a big football guy, and I like sports films. I just haven't gotten around to that one. Or the series. Don't have an opinion one way or the other, so I am unfortunately going to have to say no on that one.
Unfortunately, this one came up, but it's just one I've not seen, so I've not even seen the movie either. And it's one of those ones for only so many time in the week, like I didn't really have time to binge watch a whole series or something. But Chris, what do you say about Friday Night Lights?
I think bits and pieces here. I want to say it because from Friday Night Light, I just haven't had time to sit through the whole thing. You know what? Because of what you guys said, I do give a hesitant yes. Because I think we need this.
Which means it falls on you, JPO. What do you say about Friday Night Lights?
That's why I was afraid this might be a long episode because I feel so many rounds gonna be. Well, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen the show. I did see the movie years back. I like the movie. I've heard good things about the shows. So I'm going to give it a yes. I think it deserves to be on here from what I've heard. And I stole Buffy from Chad. So I'll give him that.
Please check it out. It's a fantastic show.
Yeah. And on Netflix, I think, still. One time
or Hulu. It's on one.
Yeah.
Or maybe Disney Plus for Malcolm. I don't know.
As far as I know, it's not. But then again, I haven't checked. Nick, what is the first TV show you're going to bring up?
First one, I'm going to nominate. Bit of a cheat on this one, but a lot of these in the top half of my list are that way. I am going with Creep Show on Shudder, based on the movie from the 80s and also Creep Show 2. It's just fun anthology stuff, and we get right into movie quality, special effects, and different kinds of storytelling. I just think what the show is able to do in telling a story within 20 or so minutes is really impressive. Even the holiday special stuff, like when they do with Survivor Type, and that's animated with Kiefer Sutherland, or you do The Finger with DJ Qualls, like it's just giving a lot of actors a lot of room to explore in this space. Breckin Meyer was in an episode, so I think it's definitely worth a watch. It is definitely an anthology on Shudder, so I don't imagine that a lot of people have seen it, but it is one I recommend.
Yeah, I don't have Shudder. I just haven't. So I watch horror, but I don't watch a lot of it either. But yeah, I haven't seen Creepshow. Chris, what do you say about Creepshow?
I don't have Shudder. I hear it good, and not the horror show I have on my list, but I have not seen it. I don't have Shudder.
JPO, have you seen Creepshow?
No, I'm sad because I'm actually with you, Nick. This was on my list as well. I do dig the show. Like you said, you have several really fun guest stars. My buddy Derek Russo was the main werewolf on that Christmas episode. So yeah, it's worth checking out. But so yeah, it would have been a big yes for me.
Chad, it's falls on you. What do you say about Creepshow?
I'm gonna give this one a yes. I actually haven't seen it either. The only reason I'm giving it a yes is because I do love the anthology films that it spawns off of, and I know this was kind of like a child of Greg Nicotero's, and I know Stephen King has worked on it, and stuff like that. So I feel like this is one that I need to see that I just haven't gotten around to. Because I do really enjoy anthology stuff, and I still haven't finished Del Toro's Curiosity show either. So, but yes, for this one.
Yeah, and speaking of like Nicotero, good practical effects too, for the most
Oh
part.
yeah, very good.
It's on me to nominate a TV show now. I'm gonna save the one I was going to bring up first, just because I don't want this to end up into an all horror TV show list. But I'm going to bring up one that I just really loved watching. It just one of those shows which was a lot of fun, and that's Stargate SG-1. Start like this series, like I really love the movie that it's based on, but this series, like essentially, like retcons a lot of the movie, but it just still continues on from it as well, and I think Richard Dean Harris, Richard Dean Anderson is just really great as Colonel Jack O'Neill, and it's just one of those ones like if you're going to get someone to sort of step in the role of Kurt Russell, is like Richard Dean Anderson did it well. I probably butchered everything, but I love Stargate SG-1. Chris, what do you say about it?
I have not seen it. I had never seen Stargate. I haven't seen this one, so I had to give it no. But you have me sold, at least. A little bit.
JPO, what do you say about Stargate SG-1?
I think I'm gonna grab some drinks and play the drinking game of I haven't seen it tonight. Have not seen it, so it's gonna be a no.
Chad, what do you say about Stargate SG-1?
I unfortunately also haven't seen it. The only big sci-fi show that has a lot of notoriety that I've seen is Battlestar Galactica. Maybe that might come up at some point, but this one I don't know. I don't
Isn't
know.
That a show based on a show, and only there's a movie.
Yeah,
I actually don't. I actually don't.
It's
know
not a movie. They had spit-off movies, but it doesn't count.
Oh, gotcha. Well, Stargate. Either way, I haven't seen, and I don't know where it falls in the lexicon, what people normally say. So I can't really. I don't have enough information to really say yes to it. So I'll just abstain.
Nick, what do you say about Stargate SG-1?
Abstain is a no. What you're saying?
I really like this movie. I've not seen the show. The movies are a lot of fun with James Spader and Kurt Russell, but the show I actually haven't had a chance to take a look at yet. It does look like it would continue on and be, because it is such a really good concept. So for that, I would say yes, but I ultimately can't fully get there, so I'm gonna have to go no on that one.
But Chris, we go back to you for your next nomination.
So I feel like I need to bring this up before we get crucified in the comment section. We don't bring this up. I love the movie. I'm not the big fan of 2 and 3 or the remake, but I do love this series. On Netflix, they continue where all the movies leave off. Cobra Kai. Had to bring out Cobra Kai. It's such a fun, sometimes very dumb, but fun show to watch. And Netflix, I love what they do with Johnny. I love what they do with Daniel Lewis. So I love a lot of the new characters. I love Miguel. I love every single character, Dimitri, and all the characters they introduced. It's a fun show. It gets ridiculous as the season go on. but it's fun, ridiculous. I mean, especially in the latest season, like Terry Silver is such a good villain in the latest season, and he like just over him. Like I don't love this show. To go on how much I love this show, I think it's one of the best things Netflix had in a while. Can't wait for next season, especially. Hopefully, where they go and finish it in that satisfying way. So Cobra Kai.
JPO, what do you say about Cobra Kai?
Yeah, this one obvious. This is definitely a big yes for me. This would have been my next pick if it had been chosen by now. Not surprised it's come on here already. A fun fact: never seen any of the movies except for Jaden Smith's. But you don't need to because they give you enough background. You calm down. All of you calm down. They give you enough flashbacks. You don't need to see it. You know the story, even if you don't watch it. And yeah, it's I've seen every episode. I look forward to the next season here. It's just it knows what to do right and does it well. So yes.
Chad, what do you say about Cobra Kai?
I know JPO is going to see the original Karate Kid at some point. He's got to do his Ralph Macchio ranking at some point on Facebook. But anyways, yeah, the Karate Kid is a classic '80s film, beloved. One of the best sports movies. Whatever. It's fantastic. The remake I like too, and the show I actually really dug. I haven't seen some of the later seasons. I'm not caught up, but I have seen, I think, the first 2, maybe the first 3. And I thought it was a really interesting, like it was kind of like, weird at first. It was on like YouTube Red or something like that.
Mhm.
And then they threw it on Netflix. And then from there, it started to get like a really big following and just has been going strong ever since. And I love how they kind of just spun it around, and then they're like, the villain from the original movie, we're gonna recontextualize it. He's the hero of this story, and we're just gonna. It's kind of like the whole Barney Stinson thing from How I Met Your Mother, where he's like, no, the Cobra Kai were the heroes of that story, and Danny LaRusso was a piece of shit. And it's like they made a show out of that. I'm like, this is kind of awesome. I think a lot of the fighting in it is choreographed super well. Some of the storylines are really great, even though I think sometimes it gets a little cheesy, but that's kind of fun. Like it's like coming from like an '80s property, for it to be cheesy, I think it worked. So yeah, this was definitely on my list. Great choice.
Nick, what do you say about Cobra Kai?
So this is another one I haven't seen, but it's not because I just haven't gotten around to it. It's quite simply the fact that I couldn't get behind the premise, and so I just haven't checked it out. It doesn't sound like it would be something I would enjoy. I'm a big kung fu guy, but do we really need to sit through another, oh no, the heroes you grew up with, turns out they were bad the whole time? I don't know.
That's not what the show does. Don't worry.
I just think
that doesn't sound like the show.
I just think it's been done to death. I don't need to watch it. I wasn't on board with it when they were on YouTube Red, and I'm even less and so now that it's available to everyone on Netflix. So I'm going to have to go with no on this one. I know that nobody here is going to agree with me on that, but yeah, that's my feelings on it.
Why less though? Because of Netflix. Well, why did that make? Oh, now it's on Netflix, even less. I don't get that part.
Netflix.
I mean, I have seen the original movies. I haven't seen Cobra Kai, but I'm with Barney Stinson on this. Daniel LaRusso's totally the little shithead. Yeah. So I'm going to go no, but it's going to make it anyway.
Yeah, do watch the show, guys. It really good. Yeah. Especially when they expand on when Johnny T. the hero. Like there's some really funny.
But with that, we go back to JPO.
All right, one I'm very excited to talk about, but I'm so afraid I'm going to get a bunch of. I haven't seen it. Wet Hot American Summer over on Netflix.
Which one?
Which one?
Which one?
It's really even though it's got a subtitle. I mean, fine. I'm going to say First Day of Camp, but the second one I feel like should just kind of be included. It's a season 2 just with a subtitle. Yeah, so first day of camp. So it takes place. It's a prequel, despite all the actors being recasted as the original characters 20 years later. It's hilarious. Again, some great guest stars popping up. Chris Pine, Jason Schwartzman. The chef becomes a can. It works though. It is so funny. It is so good. Even better than the movie, in my opinion. I like the movie here, but I love the first concept. Bradley Cooper even comes back for season 1. Yeah, it's a great show that I really dug. I'd love a season 3 if they ever got to it. But yeah, Wet Hot American Summer.
Chad, what do you say about Red Hot American Summer First Day of Camp?
Believe it or not, this was on my list. Michael Showalter's the man, and
Yeah.
I really love the movie. I know it's a cult classic. Not everyone loves that movie. It's kind of like your thing or you're not, or it's not. And it's my thing. I really love how silly the shit is. The movie brought in like a lot of like really like great actors that weren't really a thing back then, like Bradley Cooper and Amy Poehler and stuff like that. Even Paul Rudd and whatever. And they come back and they're all like these like older adults just in like really small clothing, like their camp counselor. It's so, but it works because it's so weird and strange. It's kind of like the new Weird Al movie that just came out. It just doesn't give a shit. It just tries to be as silly as possible. And that's when a movie or a show is smart like that and just like really goes for the camp and the silliness. I'm fully on board. And they got into like weird like politics stuff in it, and I just thought it was really awesome. And I really dug this one. So yes, for sure.
Nick, what do you say about Red Hot American Summer First Day of Camp?
I definitely haven't seen the show or the movie, so I have no context in which to place this at all. So unfortunately, I am going to go no on this one.
Yeah. I mean, this is one when I heard about these movies being made. I hadn't seen the movie, but this made me want to check it out at the same time. And the only reason that I wanted JPO to specify which one, they do show up on Netflix as 2 separate limited shows. So I mean, I get the argument that that technically is the same series, but yeah, they just show up as 2 different ones.
I think First Day of Camp's the better one, but yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
I would lean towards that.
Yeah, but yeah, I love this show. First Day of Camp is just a lot of fun, and yeah, just seeing people like Sam Levine and all that trying to play the younger versions of themselves is just a lot of fun. I think the 10 years on was really good as well, but it just didn't have the same charm as the First Day.
Because the fun fact, I just want to throw that the Sam Levine fun fact is that it was his voice, not him in the actual movie. So I guess they had him as an actual actor in the show, which is really cool.
But with that, it does make the list. Chris, what would you have said about Red Hot American Summer?
And much I really do like the show, and I see most of the episode. I'm gonna give it no, just because to be honest, right now there are a bunch of shows I want to get on. And it's not my, and I like it. It's a very fun show, but there are comedy one a little bit harder with put up like this. Chad might hopefully mention it.
But Chad, we go back to you. What is the next TV show you're going to bring up?
Okay, so this one is another one. It's not in my top 5, but this one is like ranks very highly for me. The movie is basically perfect, nominated for Best Picture, and then they made a show. It's Fargo. Yeah, Fargo. This show, when they announced it, I was like, "What?" Because I think that's basically a perfect movie. I adore it. Cohen's masterpiece. But the show came out, and it's kind of like, it's not like an anthology, but like each season is like different, but not really like in an American Horror Story kind of way. I think they're all connected in a way, but they each have different stories, and they're all like great, like dark comedy. There's has some of the best acting, some of the best horror. There's a lot of really great, crazy villains. Like Billy Bob Thornton is the villain in the first season. He's scary as hell. And then you have David Thewlis in season 3, and he's scary as hell. And it's just like every single season of this is fantastic. I think maybe Jesse Plemons and Kirsten Dunst met on the show, and now they're a couple with like a baby and stuff, and starring in Oscar-nominated films together.
Season 2,
but season 2, phenomenal season. This is like another like perfect 3 seasons of TV. I haven't seen the 4th season, so I didn't say 4 seasons. I need
Chris Rock.
Yeah, I need to check that one out. But I adore the show. If you haven't seen it, you're in for a treat. I love it so much. Fargo.
Nick, what do you say about Fargo?
Broken record here. Haven't seen it. Haven't seen the show. A lot of these FX shows, man, they just kind of flew right past me. So unfortunately, I got no context at all. So it's going to be a no from me. So,
yeah, I'm also haven't seen it. Chris, what do you say about Fargo?
Maybe me and Chad be the only one on this. I love Fargo. I haven't seen every season, but from watching it with my parents, they're brilliant. I think the first season really good with Martin Freeman. I believe Billy Thornton in a really great role. He did that. I mean, when he got
Colin Hanks.
Yeah. The second season is great. The third season with Ewan McGregor, really good. Like, definitely check it out. It's my number 11, but I don't give it yet. I want to get some good stuff on here. Every out.
JPO, what do you say about Fargo?
No, it's a yes for me. This is again like last round. The next thing I was going to bring up here. Did you say Billy Bob won the award for it?
I don't know. He did.
Okay, well, I was just going to say, regardless, he's that good. Like I think it's the best performance he's given in years. Like he's so good. And you've already mentioned Colin Hanks. It's also a lot of fun comedic actors that pop up. Key and Peele, Gunn Howerton from It's Always Sunny. Who sad ending to him. Oops, spoilers. But no, yeah, it's a great show. I too actually haven't seen the last season, maybe even 2, so I do need to catch up. But the first is that good, and the first couple are that good, where I definitely say it deserves to be here. So yes,
Billy Bob was nominated. He didn't win.
He should.
I'm not surprised he was at least nominated because, like I said, I loved him. I feel like lately, but he was so good.
But yeah, to answer your question, Stardrew, what's on the list already? We've got What We Do in the Shadows, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Friday Night Lights, Creepshow, Cobra Kai, Red Hot American Summer, First Day of Camp, and now Fargo.
Are we getting down to a limit here?
5 more.
But Nick, what is the next movie, TV show you can bring up?
Just because we're narrowing it down, I am going to move down my list a little bit. Going to jump to Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yes!
Based on Army of Darkness. Man, this show is great. It's got such like if you like Army of Darkness and just the Evil Dead franchise as a whole, I mean, you get Bruce Campbell back, and it's just the same thing. It's the same flavor. It's the same type of effects. It's the whole kit and caboodle. So I nominate that one. That's my next go-to.
Yeah, I've only just seen the Evil Dead movies for the first time this year. I haven't got around to the series. Chris, you're totally going to say no, aren't you?
This is a show I've been referencing, and I hope to ever say yes. I love Ash vs. Evil Dead. Like, the episode, after the first episode where they go to the family and then, they talk to real... one of the most funniest, like, especially Bruce Campbell, the way he's trying to get the reactions and such. Mm-hmm. Like Lucy, I believe Lucy Lawless from Spartacus that played one that chasing after them. So good on the show, like especially in Spartacus.
From Spartacus, she's done other things. He was Xena, dude.
Oh yeah, they also filmed that show in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So just throwing that out there for no reason. I'm throwing that out there.
It's so good. Like even the season when his daughter, like definitely check this show out. Mm-hmm. One of the more entertaining show on Star. It might second Star show I have on my list. I might be up the other one later.
But yeah, I mean, I believe the new Evil Dead movie is also filmed here as well. JPO, what do you say about Ash versus the Evil Dead?
Another easy yes for me. This would have been the second to next one I would have brought up if we made it that far. So yeah, it's a fun continuation. You get more Bruce Campbell. What more do you want? And it's a fun side cast too. I'm forgetting their names except for obviously Lucy Lawless, but like it's fun, man. It knows what it is. The guy got Sam Raimi back producing and whatnot. So yeah, I'm gonna say yes.
And Chad, what do you say about Ash versus the Evil Dead?
Yeah, actually, I adore the Evil Dead franchise. I haven't seen all of the show, but for this, I was like, I need to at least watch the first episode. So I just watched the first episode tonight and prep for this. Yeah, I haven't really gotten like a good feel for what the actual story is going to be, but like, I really dug a lot of the, Deadite stuff, the in sequence with them fighting and the RV or whatever was really fun. Bruce Campbell giving his like one-liners. It's just, it's one of those things where if you love the movies, you'll probably adore the show. I'd have to give a yes to it because I love Sam Raimi. I love Bruce Campbell. I love Evil Dead, and I can't wait to keep watching that show.
Yeah.
Finally,
the episode I mentioned is the next episode. You do get a kick out of the episode.
Ruby.
But yeah, I was looking at my list and realized that there is actually a show that's based on a movie that I completely forgot about. But there's also one of those ones that that people would write if it doesn't make this list. I'm going to go for that one. Hopefully, someone comes up for the other one at some stage. But I'm bringing up MASH. Look, the good old classic 70s show, which means I'm really worried about if people have actually seen it. But yeah, look, this follows on from the movie really well. It's one of those ones like you got Alan Alda in this, you got a whole lot of great cast, and it's just one of those shows I remember watching bits and pieces of when I was with my parents in there. And MASH is just such a great show, and I think it deserves to be here. Chris, what do you say about MASH?
I think clips on it on like Watch Mode. I've seen moments of it. I had never seen the whole show, so I had to tell anything now.
JPO, what do you say about MASH?
Does it deserve to be on here? Most likely. Have I seen it? No, and I want other things on here, so no.
Chad, what do you say about MASH?
When you do rankings like this and you don't have just like all boomers, like stuff like this normally probably wouldn't come up because it's a very boomerific show. Does that mean that it's not good? Definitely not. I believe the finale of this was one of like the most watched things ever. Or whatever, at least at the time. I've heard that it's really fantastic. I haven't seen it. That being said, I wouldn't mind it being on the list, so I'll give it a blind yes or semi-blind yes.
Nick, what do you say about MASH?
I am in the position that I did not know that this counted. I did not know that the movie came first before the show. So I am going to have to say no just because I don't have anything. I haven't seen it at all. So no on that one.
No, that's fair. Chris, we go back to you.
How many spots we have left?
4.
This is in the private chat. Count it up.
Okay, should I go with MTO? Should I go with Star Wars here? No, I do shoot my shot here. I know Malcolm does say no. I freaking love this show. Just finished this recent episode this past week. I think being an Ender. I think for all the Star Wars show we have, as much as I love the Clone Wars for most part and most of the other, I think ended the perfect first season. Started, I think it had great acting, great visual. Like the Prison Escape episode is phenomenal visually, writing wise and acting wise. It delved into stuff I thought would be boring, but I think interesting. I think the whole empire, the politics behind the empire, dealing with rebellion, the start of rebellion. I think Fiona Shaw is phenomenal in her small appearance. Her speech really moving. Spoiler, and her funeral at the end. I think Dallas God's getting one of the best performances of the year, especially his sacrifice speech, which should be shown in every acting class known to mankind. I think it dealt more interest over than everything. It made everything interesting before, Rogue One, and it made Daniel Luna more interesting. I think the stuff they gave him is really good. I like where it ended. I love the post-credit scene. I love a lot of the character. I think the Empire is terrifying. The churches scene alone in one of the last episode is scary as hell, and it's not something I would forget for anytime soon. Oh, shout out to Andy Serkis. That guy is a natural treasure. He's a phenomenal actor. That one thing with no dialogue, you just see his reaction trying to make that decision. Or should we plan to escape or not? You just see everything going through his face. It's phenomenal. So I know Malcolm, so I hope we took an Andor here from Star Wars. I'll say my answer to you for later.
Are you sure about that? JPO, what do you say about Andor?
I don't have any Star Wars on my list personally. This one I just simply haven't seen. I've heard mixed things, some good, some in the middle. I just hasn't really tickled me to get to it. I think based on everything that's out there, I don't think I'll have time for it. Personally, I haven't seen it.
Chad, what do you say about Andor?
I try to stay as current as possible, but I still also haven't gotten to this one yet. But just like Chris has sitting there gushing about this show, that's all I've heard about this show. The places that I hear people talking about new things and stuff, everyone is just losing their damn minds over Andor. And it's just like, I thought people loved The Mandalorian, but that's like nothing apparently compared to this Andor show. So I have been really excited to check it out. And so because I've just heard so many great things about it, basically talking about how it's just like next level kind of show, I want to give it a guess. So yes.
Nick, what do you say about Andor?
I have not seen Andor yet. As much as I love Rogue One and do really want to check this show out, and I do love The Mandalorian and hate that I couldn't put it on this list. I cannot go with Andor just because I have other stuff that's on my list that I would like to be on this list. So I'm going to have to say no on that one.
Oh, look at that. The fate of Andor falls on me. Look, I've never said anything about me hating the show. I think the show is extremely slow-paced and extremely boring. It's just one of those ones. And for a show that's called Andor, I expected a lot of backstory about Cassian Andor. You really don't get a lot. You really don't find out a lot about Andor. It's more about the creation of the rebellion, and why they just couldn't call it Rebels live action or something. I don't know.
Because we had a Star Wars Rebel animated show. I think they
It's called Star Wars Rebels, but this is about the start of the rebellion, though.
Yeah.
You can't argue that it's not. but look, the acting is good in it. It is interesting, and I actually do like the show a lot. To say it's the best Star Wars show on Disney Plus is crazy because it's still, Mandalorian is still better.
But it doesn't count, sadly. That for me, it would be on my list.
Well, yes, it does. It doesn't count. But Mandalorian is still the better show, the Star Wars show on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I'm still going to give this a yes, even though I think the show is extremely boring.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the story is interesting and the acting is enough for me to actually want to watch, because I actually did get around to finishing it. I don't get why everyone's losing their mind about that post-credit scene too. It's literally just a shot of the Death Star being created, which you knew was going to happen anyway.
To me, the best moment is
anyway.
Yeah.
To move on.
Stargard's speech is like the best moment in any TV dish. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on from Andor, JPO, what is the next show you're going to bring up?
All right. Well, we did Star Wars. Let's see if we can shoot in a Marvel show here. I'm gonna go Loki. This was a lot of fun. Love me some Tom Hiddleston. It was nice world building. Chris is already spoiling his answer because he can't wait because he's too jittery. But that was a lot of fun here. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Shut the fuck up, Chris. I see this you shaking your head. No, we get it. Anywho, Loki.
Chad, what do you say about Loki?
I don't know which way this panel is going to go with Loki. I need to give it a rewatch. I watched it like as it was airing, and I liked a lot of it, but I can't remember if I rank this one highly like I do some of the other MCU shows. And I'm not sure how many MCU shows are actually going to make it on the list. So I don't know if this one would be the one that I would say, even though I think Owen Wilson is amazing in the show. I'm going to give it a slight no, but I would be fine if it made it on the list.
Nick, what do you say about Loki?
Okay, so controversial opinion. I do not like the slow motion heroification of Loki. He's so much better as a villain. Avengers works because he's the villain. So I did not like Loki as a show purely because that turn was so quick. Even though that's supposed to be him from the Avengers, that turn back to the side of good was so very like lightning fast and only in a couple of episodes. So for that, I did not enjoy this show, and I am going to have to give it a no.
I mean, look, arguably Loki became a hero before the show. Personally.
For sure. I just mean that like that it's supposed to be him from the Avengers, and I did not like Ragnarok either. So take that for what it is.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not surprised. You said earlier you don't like Taika Waititi anyway. But,
Exactly.
but anyway, look, I really do like Loki. I think this is a good show. Like the chemistry between Loki and Loki is good, and then the chemistry between Loki, and Loki is also good. But the chemistry between Loki and Mobius, I almost said Morbius, which made it a different show, but is probably the best one. Like Tom Hiddleston reunites with Owen Wilson, who they both worked together on Midnight in Paris. But yeah, I mean, this is such a fun show. I mean, this is one of those ones I wish we got more of, and I'm glad we're getting a season 2. To see sort of where what wacky adventures Loki's going to continue going on. And it's one of those shows which I didn't know what I was getting when it was signed up, but it was more interesting than what I expected as well. Chris, you can say your piece on Loki now.
Listen, I like Loki. I do. And not the MTV show I ever have on this list. I think Loki is a good show.
No.
I think they're stuff that I love. I like Morpheus. I love Loki. I like Richard Grant and Loki. I thought the introduction to King was excellent. I really excited for Ant-Man and Quantumania because of that. It was a great introduction to him as a character. But I had to say no because if one MCU show replaced above it, even though the finale wasn't that great, that they have stronger, like one episode that fit with you.
I know what you're talking about.
But with that, Loki doesn't make this list. Chad, we go back to you for your next nomination.
That it is back to me. All right. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, then I'll go with the MCU show that I like a little bit more. 1 second. Let me check in the list. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the one that I think is a little bit better than Loki, like just a little bit. I'm gonna go with WandaVision. Because WandaVision, yeah, I think that's might be what Chris was alluding to. This one was the first one, and I think there's been a lot of great MCU TV show stuff. I don't think it's been like next level TV for me or anything like that for the most part. But WandaVision, I just really dug a lot of the stuff that they were doing, like slowly doing the different eras of sitcoms, which was like really cool. And then telling a story about like Wanda's like trauma. What Chris was saying too about like it kind of evolving into something with a third act problem, but I mean that's an MCU property, so it kind of makes sense. But I think the rest of the stuff that we got was just really great, and it kind of made me love Wanda Maximoff, and I didn't really love her that much prior to the show. And so I think that's a huge credit to the show. It just made me love that character. And, I kind of wish it would have ended a little bit better maybe, but, I think it's one of the best ones. So, yeah.
Nick, what do you say about WandaVision?
I totally agree. I love this show. This is the best MCU show. And it's purely down to Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany just being fantastic. And just playing off each other really well and working with the different sitcom scenarios. And it's just a really good show to watch. And to see Wanda's grief after losing Vision and the stuff that she had to go through in order to get to manipulating an entire town is fantastic. I don't know what else you could ask for. Yeah, sure, it doesn't end on the strongest note, but I would argue that the true ending is kind of, when we get to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. That's kind of just my opinion. I really enjoy that movie as a Sam Raimi fan, so I am going to say yes to WandaVision.
Like for me, I did love WandaVision. Ironically, I really dug the ending as the starting few episodes, which I wasn't too sure if I was going to love it as much as I do. Because I mean, I do love what they're trying to do, and I kind of wish that they'd kind of stuck to the guns and continued it as an anthology series. But obviously, it had to kind of start leading into the movies eventually. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. So I love the movie. I love the TV show. I'm probably going to do that a lot, but WandaVision is an easy yes for me. Chris, what do you say about WandaVision?
This is my second favorite MCU show. The other one doesn't count. My other favorite, Miss Marvel, number one. But I love this show. I think it's strong cinematically. What is love without grief is one of the most strongest line of the year that show came out. Like it's just like I love all of the character. I love seeing before he become governor of Connecticut. Inside joke for anybody who think Glass Onion. Catherine Hahn and Angus there. You get it when you see the movie. Jordan would get it. But I loved it. I think it was great. The second to last episode, personally one of my top 3 favorite episodes for any MCU TV show. I think just showing her path, going through the door, showing her moment with Vision about grief and love. It's beautiful. In the moment with the bomb, and like it just hit you on so many levels. Her seeing Vision dead body and just her just saying I can't feel anything. I was emotional wreck watching that episode personally. Like, yeah, this is great. I wish Marvel would do more stuff like this than Miss Marvel than stuff they do with She-Hulk and everything else. So, a big yes for me.
Hey, She-Hulk was great. JPO, what do you say about WandaVision?
Yeah, I don't agree with that either. You gotta have a little bit of mix, which is I'm glad that they're doing. Anywho, no, I'm happy to give this a yes as well here. It was towards the end of what I would have suggested on my list as well if it was my 12. So yeah, it's good. I agree with it. It does kind of leave you a little unsatisfied in the end, and even the beginning of Multiverse kind of like, all right, what was the show for to a degree? But a lot of good leading up to it here. The journey was definitely worth it. So it's a yes.
And with that, WandaVision does make this list.
Oh, there you
go. But Nick, what is the next show you're going to bring up?
Okay, so we're getting down to the wire here.
Got 2 left.
That show doesn't count.
So I am going to go with the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance.
Oh.
I just think purely on a technical level that they were able to pull this off in the same style. It's just impressive. You got Mark Hamill, Simon Pegg, and Taron Egerton all in there doing great performances for the Skeksis and the Gelflings. I just think it's fantastic. And so that is my nomination. It is number one on my personal list. So I got to shoot my shot here. And yeah, Dark Crystal.
Yeah. I mean, on a technical level, Dark Crystal is good. And I think the voice cast was good, but on a whole, I just didn't like the show. I didn't really like the story it was trying to tell, and just just couldn't get into it. Chris, what do you say about Dark Crystal?
This is tough. I actually do like this show a lot. If we down to the bottom two, I had to say no. How much I do like this show, and it's even a really good Netflix show. Should have got one more season. I had to say no. Why?
JPO, what do you say about the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance?
Haven't seen it.
Chad,
Yeah, I'm actually in the same boat. I for Jim Henson stuff, I love Labyrinth. I love Muppet stuff, but I haven't seen the Dark Crystal movie or the show, and I need to get on that because I've heard they're good.
Muppet Stuff, the YouTube channel?
I don't know. I did just like Muppet, the Muppet Show, and all.
I'm friends with that guy, but never mind.
I don't know that. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Ironically, I hadn't seen the movie before I watched the show, so maybe that was my mistake. But,
It's fine. It's a prequel.
I'm going to go for a childhood favorite of mine. There's one I've got high that I want to try and get, but this one I want to at least try and talk about. I'm a really big fan of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and it's one of those ones like it is based on a TV movie, but that still counts. And it's just a lot of fun. Like Melissa Joan Hart is great as Sabrina, and like even the supporting cast, like when it comes to Harvey, the Quizmaster, Holden Zelda, Salem, like it's just a lot of fun, and it definitely brings a lot of humor, and to change up what this Archie comic was initially in the comics, because in the comics it was the Netflix show basically that they did recently, but I really love the original Sabrina the Teenage Witch series. I thought it was really funny. I thought it was great. So yeah, Chris, what do you say about Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
I mean, you picked the better out of three of them between the animated and Netflix one, and this. I have to say how much I do like it. We got down to bottom two, and did got a bunch more on my list that I want to.
I mean, the Netflix one's good, but technically, that's not based. That one specifically is not based on a movie.
Is the animated one also based on a movie?
Well, the animated one is based on the TV show,
Yeah.
so I mean, you could argue that, but yeah. JPO,
Yeah.
what do you say about Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Well, I do have love for the show. It was definitely something I grew up on and liked. I'm gonna say no because one, I wanted maybe some other things, and two, because it's based on a TV movie, which I feel it was kind of a backdoor pilot test anyway. I kind of feel like it maybe kind of doesn't count for that, so I'm gonna say no.
Chad, what do you say about Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Yeah, I mean, like for that argument's sake, it feels like it's kind of a cheat, but I mean, I could argue like it's technically counts. But it's weird because like I remember watching that show, like TGIF, all that stuff. And Melissa Joan Hart is amazing. I love her. She's Clarissa, right? So yeah, I love her. I don't know if it's gonna make it, but I'll say yes anyways because I think it's a really fun show.
Nick, what do you say about Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
I really do like this show. It was again something like GPO is something I grew up on. Mostly because Talking Cats. How can you not love that? But there's other stuff on my list that I would like to get on here, so I'm gonna have to say no.
And Sabrina Teenager does not make this list. Someday I'll get something on here.
Oh.
Chris, what is the next TV show you're going to bring up?
We haven't had an animated one on here yet, and I am torn between two. Should I go with my childhood favorites, or on my other childhood favorite?
Either way, I'm saying no to both.
You know what? Shout out to anybody who loves Nickelodeon. I do. I don't you mention Jimmy Neutron. Like I have to go with something that
Wait.
the Jimmy Neutron based on the 2000 and I think 2001 animated movie. It is something that I love to my guts. It's funny, it's corny, but the character memorable. The crossover where Fairy Odd Parents starts off with Fantastic all three. I think Jimmy Neutron as Spy is great. I think the villain is memorable. I think the jokes are really fun. The dad is funny. The mom is funny. Stream Call, like it's nostalgic. I had to be animated one here, and I think it's better than the movie. I think there are more memorable jokes. I think it had a lot of episodes you loved. The crossover, the pants episode, like it just yes. I know it probably get shut down, but I had to speak for my heart. The Adventure Jimmy Neutron show.
Yeah, and for all those wondering, the movie did come before the series. It was based. JPO, what do you say about Jimmy Neutron?
It's gonna be a slight no for me. I like it. I don't love it. I think I like the show more than the movie a lot, actually. And even I don't love the show that much. So I do like it, but it's not high enough for me. So no.
Chad, what do you say about Jimmy Neutron?
Yeah, I actually I remember that movie coming out, and I remember watching the show. A lot of nostalgia there. I don't remember the show all that much, but I do remember that it was a really fun show about a really smart kid. I thought the show came out before the movie, and you just kind of blew my mind there. I looked it up, and I was like, no shit, okay. Yeah, you know what? I mean, I don't have a ton left on my list. I'm just gonna say, yeah, sure.
Nick, what do you say about Jimmy Neutron?
Oh man, I do really like this show, and it is on my list, but it was much higher. It was much lower on my list. I have it listed number 9. Because if you look at my list, it's just horror shows and animated, most of it. So
Not my number 12 on my list, but I had to be on something animated.
I am. I don't know. It's the placement that I can't ultimately get there to bring it to a yes. While I do really like the show, and I think that it is a lot of fun with a lot of really good jokes and a really good cast, really inventive ideas, based on a pretty good movie. I don't know if I can put it this high, if that makes sense. So regrettably, I'm gonna have to say no on that one.
Once again, it falls on me. This was the first one I thought of when I was compiling my list. I do love the show, but fortunately, there's a lot of stuff that's higher up on my list that haven't been talked about yet. That means I'm going to have to say no to it. So Jimmy Neutron's not going to make this list.
I'm just happy we brought it up because
but
also
JPO,
all three crossover, it's fantastic with Fairy Odd Parents.
But I mean, one of those three are good. JPO, who wants you?
Well, speaking of childhood favorites. Let's go with one of my childhood favorites that has become a show recently, Chucky. Let's get back to horror. Very cool about this series too is that it is legitimately a continuation of all the movies. They've always had a continuing storyline, obviously excluding the Mark Hamill one, which was a studio thing, but the ones with the actual Brad Dourif Chucky doll, it's a continuing story of that. They've had a lot of fun. His daughter has appeared in the show as a young version of him, and as well as her own character in Nina. It pulls punches that you don't see coming. It's definitely not afraid to kill off main characters, and it's a bloody good time, man. I'm gonna nominate Chucky.
Chad, what do you say about Chucky?
Okay, so I have been meaning to watch the show, and because of this episode, I watched actually watched half of the first episode, but I was really digging it. I thought like a lot of the setup was really cool. I love seeing Devon Sawa return, and it looked like he was playing like two roles, like brother roles.
Soon to be 3. He loves that guy, evidently.
What? I love Devon Sawa, from like, Little Giants and, all that stuff. Yeah, the show just seemed really creepy. Even just like, the one boy trying to be an artist and making like a mannequin of like weird doll parts. And I'm like, this show's like this show's like kind of like Hannibal-ized and stuff. I'm gonna say yes because I think it's really creepy.
Nick, what do you say about Chucky?
I love these movies. I've seen every one of them. Have not seen this show. I don't know if I can necessarily get behind the concept of Chucky being with a high schooler. It just seems a little weird for me. Maybe the show sells it better than the way it looked in that
three
trailer.
movies where he was with someone even younger is.
I'm just saying. It's more believable when no one believes the kid.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So. Maybe it's a bad trailer. Maybe it couldn't really sell me. I am more interested to watch it just purely based on the stuff I've heard about it and the one clip I saw. But ultimately, I think that specifically the Brad Dourif version of Chucky didn't end on the highest note with Cult of Chucky. I didn't like the Mark Hamill movie either, but because of that, I just can't get there for the Chucky series. So that's a no from me.
Yeah, I mean, I actually do like the Mark Hamill version, and I do hope they find a way to work him in there somehow.
That'll never happen.
It never will happen.
I mean, never say never.
Well, Don Mancini dies, then it might happen. No, being legit, he straight up has been like, "No, we're different universes." Like, and I'm not even knocking the movie. I like that movie too. I'm just saying, they've said no.
Oh yeah. No, I get the whole different universes thing. I mean, it's just I was hoping that like there's still. I'm going to keep hope. Anyway, I haven't seen season 2 of Chucky yet. I've been really behind when it comes to a lot of the show. But just based on season 1, I love it. It's really good. So it's an easy yes for me. Chris, what do you say about Chucky?
Does it follow me or did it get in?
It's in, baby. So say what you want.
So I've seen the first episode. I really do like the first episode. I haven't seen the rest. That's my only thing. So I might have to give it a no, but I do like what I've seen. I just because every time I at my girlfriend out, it's too much for her. Try watching it whenever I'm not at home.
But with that, Chucky makes the list, and we move over to Chad.
All right, so I forgot what the rules are on this. If like I bring up something that is just kind of disqualified because it doesn't count, then maybe I can bring up something else, or I'm just stuck with that one.
Well, I mean, if we decide it doesn't count, then I'll give you another shot.
Okay. Then I'm gonna bring up one that just popped in my head that I should have just put on my list all along, and I already said it. Hannibal. Okay,
I mean,
here's
I had
my
no
argument
idea.
is I know it's based off of like characters from books, but like I feel like it's also kind of like from the movie. So you know,
yeah,
I want to say
I
yes
mean, I
to
don't know
that,
about
but
the
yeah.
rest of you, but I'm inclined to say no, just because don't think there's a lot of connection to the actual movies in the series. I haven't seen the series myself, but
It takes place before the event of Red Dragon, but the last season is leading into Red Dragon itself.
yeah,
It's such a
I
good
mean,
show. I want to say yes on my gut because it is one of my favorite TV shows in the last couple of years.
I don't know. So what do people think? Do you want to count Hannibal?
I
It looks
think
like everyone's getting a thumbs up, so you
I
can talk
think
about
it
Hannibal.
counts. It's
Yeah.
on my list. I think it counts.
I would rather say yes to that than the other crappy we don't talk about CBS one. That
all right.
is-
Well, if it counts, then I'll go ahead and talk about it real quick. This show I love. I don't know if it would have been a show if the movies and all the movies hadn't been so amazing, like Silence of the Lambs and even Manhunter from like before that. A lot of fantastic stuff. I haven't seen all the movies, but the show I watched, Mads Mikkelsen is just like next level creepy in the show. I love like the weird relationship between him and Will. All the stuff of like the sequences of just showing him cooking. And then when you know what he's cooking, you're like, this is creepy, but it's like weirdly like satisfying to watch.
Appetizing, yeah, it's very,
And
yeah.
and then like you get all of the like crazy body horror and just corpse displays in this show, and it's just like you just got to sit there and like wonder how the hell did this end up on like network television. Like this is like rated R, like gore and like body horror and just a lot of psychological horror too, and it's just like I don't know. This is a next level show. I would love for it to get another season because I think it's like perfect. I need to give it a rewatch because it's also kind of confusing.
we were so close to getting Silence of the Lambs season.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Maybe get a Jodie Foster cameo, but yeah, I love the show. Mads Mikkelsen is next level, and even Larry Fishburne is fantastic in it too.
Hugh Dancy, shout out to him. He's so good at both.
Yeah.
Yeah, before I go to you, Nick, I'm not saying it had to be connected to the movie, Stephen. The trickier thing with Hannibal is it's just the question of is it based on the books or is it based on the movie?
I think a combination of both.
That is what I was getting at with that.
I forgot it was a Dead Zone. I like that show.
But Nick, what do you say about Hannibal?
Yeah, I got to go yes on this. It was number 2 on my list. And it's all just based on Mads Mikkelsen's performance because I don't know how you can top what Anthony Hopkins does in Silence of the Lambs, but he somehow pulls it off, and it's even better when he's got Will Graham to play off of, and their dynamic and interplay and the constant back and forth of trying to catch him as the killer, and he's right there, and it's an incredibly compelling and intense show for NBC. So I am going to go with yes on that one.
Yeah. As I said earlier, I haven't seen it. But I've seen various clips of this, and Anthony Hopkins is still by far the better version of Hannibal Lecter. I really didn't like what I've seen about Mads' performance, but I'll probably check it out eventually. It's on my list, just not that high up anyway. But Chris, what do you say about Hannibal?
I own the first season actually in my DVD collection. I freaking love this show.
Me too.
This is a show that I just checked because I was bored when it first started, and I were involved. I couldn't eat food watching it because I almost wanted to throw up half the time. The tournament episode, hand down, made me almost want to throw up. But I think he's dancing great. I think like Fishbone great. I think Gillian Anderson is phenomenal in this show. Like we first have to educated that one of my favorite role of her. But I don't understand. I know Cody being there, Barry, and he see that and he would yell at me in the comment. I like Anthony Hopkins. I do. I think he is good. I like Matt Mickelson portrayal a lot more. I think I have a hard time believing Anthony Hopkins that he should get away with it. The police didn't bully him for that long. You believe the police believe him at that in that kind of game that they believe everything he says, that he not just kill everything. And the mind game he play with Will is phenomenal. Like the back and forth between doing every therapy session. The episode with the violinist, where you actually see Matt Mickelson in action taking out the killer and wanted to kill her. It's fantastic. Second season great, third season great, fourth season really good, Rich Armitage is really good. Like every character in this show, like top to bottom, is great. Definitely check it out. I love this show, and it made Hannibal scary. I needed more for Anthony Hopkins. The scene alone with the flashback, and it got him to climbing over the library staircase to attack one of the police investigators with no sound, and one of the most scariest, like, horrific moment any TV show I've watched. Like, yes, to Hannibal. I regret not putting it on my list because I did a state of account, but it's now high on my list.
JPO, what do you say about Hannibal?
I too owned the first couple of seasons because they were on sale on Black Friday a few years back. I should totally open those up and watch them. Never seen it.
But with that, enough people have seen it that it makes the list, and that is all travel. Just to recap what is on this list, we got What We Do in the Shadows, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Friday Night Lights, Creep Show, Cobra Kai, Red Hot American Summer, First Day of Camp, Fargo, Ash vs. Evil Dead, Andor, WandaVision, Chucky, Hannibal. But Nick, what are a few honorable mentions ahead? Try not to list too much.
A couple of more honorable mentions. Last one I got on my top 5 here is Lethal Weapon. Very surprised at how you can just completely capture the entire vibe of those movies in a series. Was not into it when I started, and it just won me over right after the first episode. So it's definitely a good honorable mention for me. As far as animated is concerned, I think that 101 Dalmatian Street is a pretty good continuation of the 1950s film. We actually get horrifying Cruella in that season finale, so just going to mention that one quickly here. And Buzz Lightyear Star Command,
Yes,
on my list. Did not bring it up, but it was definitely it's just a fun show with a great cast of people. So those are just a couple that I have.
Yeah, I mean, looking at what made the list, I could have just done like horror TV shows based on movies, apparently. But yeah, for me, someone mentions this. Do you want to taste this? Peacemaker. I was going to bring up.
Oh no!
I forgot.
I actually didn't even think of that.
Also, the
Can
one
we
that
go
I
back?
Can we go back
We
and take
can
out?
it's too late to go. It's too late. It's too late to go back.
Wasn't on any of the other lists I saw. Damn it.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you looked on Wiki, it's not that up to date.
Yeah.
But there's another one that I'm pretty sure wasn't on the Wikipedia list that came to my mind recently is Blind Spotting, the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
That one may have been take me off from Stars. So that's not nobody's seen it.
Yeah, I didn't see the show.
But also like animated TV shows based on movies is another one that could be its own list anyway. But
yeah, that actually would be a good list.
Bring us on.
Jumanji, the animated series, Back to the
Beetlejuice,
Future,
there's some good ones.
Yeah, there were some good ones. I did also really dug Lethal Weapon. MacGruber is great. And yeah, Chris, what are some honorable mentions there?
You mentioned Blind Spotting. Love the show. Helen Hunt is hysterical at the mother-in-law in the show. the episode where she had to go into the bookstore to find books to explain to her grandchildren why the father in
Spoilers.
jail is hysterical. The whole cast is great. Shao had Peggy for Hamilton in it, and she's phenomenal. Animated one, the other one I love Chow too. I see Horseman, Boatman, everything little except the TV series I do love. One that doesn't get mentioned a lot. I love it. I think with 2 great seasons, should have been another season. Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicle. Like I think it's a very underrated show. Nikita, not a lot of people see with Maggie Q. It's really good. Mighty Ducks the Game Changer on Disney Plus is actually I love it just as much in the movie. I think having go to Bombay come back, I think the dynamic, the dark humor he brings into it is very funny.
I'm going to cut you off there because try not to save some for the other two. JPO, what are some?
No, we got their own that platform.
There's no crying in Rankum.
No.
First one I thought about, I mentioned it in the chat. MacGruber movie based on, or TV show based on a movie based on a skit. Westworld started off really hot. The first few seasons are really good. I'll be the third one to say Lethal Weapon. I think if maybe the main dude had stayed like a little bit longer, like it had the potential to be like top tier, and just because of that, I just didn't. It was lower on my list. Speaking of stars,
but
yeah, they're even Sean William Scott's really good, but like it unfortunately just never got to get to that longer. Speaking of blind spotting stars, Snowpiercer is a pretty good TV show based on a great movie. 12 Monkeys is actually pretty good if anyone's seen the sci-fi show. And finally, my animation nominee would have been Clerks. Short-lived show.
Of course.
Nice.
I love the fact that like episode 3 is a clip show of episode 1. And I think if that show aired today, it would have lasted a lot longer.
Now, just clarification, you were talking about the
Animated, not the Jim
non-action
Brewer
pilot.
live action pilot. Yeah, no, not that. The animated one that actually aired for 6 or 7.
But Chad, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Yeah, I just had 2. Bates Motel is one that I thought
Yeah,
was great.
Motel.
And then the other one that I wasn't sure if it would count was kind of based off of Back to the Future, Rick and Morty.
No.
No.
That was the other one
uses
that I was
that
going to bring up
dynamic, but-
if Hannibal didn't count.
It would have been, what's your third choice?
Your
Should have been
favorite
Bates
was
Motel.
Rick and Morty from Hannibal.
Look, I can see the argument for Rick and Morty, but yeah, that would have been an easier one to say no to. But anyway, now we get to the fun part. We get to actually rank the list. Basically, how we do it is we write down on a whiteboard or bit of paper, whatever's handy, what you want at 12, and then we go up the list until we have a definitive top 12 list. But Chris, what do you have for number 12?
I regretted just gotten a list of a Peacemaker, but I had to take Creature. I had to go with the show. I have it.
JPO, what do you have for 12?
Andor.
Chad, what do you have for 12?
I'm actually fine with Creep Show.
Nick, what do you have for 12?
I also put down Creep Show for 12.
I also put down Creep Show.
Nick, that was your own nomination.
Yeah.
I regret we said yesterday I would not realize Peacemaker counted.
But
Man, the chat day crucify us for forgetting about Peacemaker.
I mean, the comment section is probably going to be mad we forgot. No one remembered Peacemaker.
And all those boomers talking about MASH, right, Chad?
Right.
Way to lose the boomer audience.
But JPO, what do you have for 11?
Andor, a Star Wars story saga, episode 42.
Chad,
I said Cobra Kai.
Nick,
You go to hell, Chad.
I went with Wet Hot American Summer.
You also go.
yeah, I'm actually happy with Andor at 11. Chris,
I have Friday Night Lights just because the only thing
But with that, Andor is going to be 11.
Hey, we got them seen at least.
But yet we didn't get Peacemaker on.
Yeah. Shout out also to Clone Wars were good, but this only one Star Wars show to me. I take it with mine, even though the other. No, I don't have it, Chucky.
Chad, what do you have for 10?
Changed it to White Hot American Summer.
Nick.
With what we do in the shadows.
You.
I put Friday Night Lights. Chris.
Friday Night Lights, I just haven't enough.
JPO.
Friday Night Lights, clear eyes, full hearts, can lose.
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry right now. Oh my god.
Okay. We did 2 more. I have everything all over. I don't want to like better than the others. By the way, can someone tell me where to watch Chucky with the first season?
It's on Peacock, I think.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a USA sci-fi show. Yeah.
Because when I go
but-
on demand, it's up to second season.
But Nick,
Yeah,
what do you have
that's
for 9?
What we do in the shadows.
I've got Hannibal. Chris.
My Hot American Summer 15 Camp.
JPO.
Hannibal, starring Army Hammer.
Chad.
What Hot American Summer?
Boo.
All right, so you got Red Hot American Summer and Hannibal tied on 2. Nick, you're the odd one out. Which of those 2 do you want at 9?
I'm going to go with Wet Hot American Summer on that one.
Okay, I then got one more left. I have everything all over. Oh, actually 2. Yeah,
But I'm sticking with Hannibal. Chris.
Chucky.
JPO.
Hannibal.
Chad.
Chucky.
Nick.
Said what we do in the shadows.
Once again, tied to a piece for it, Chucky and Hannibal. Nick, what do you want at 8?
Chucky is going to be at 8. Hannibal deserves to be higher.
Me, Chad, and
I don't think it has much hope now. We got 2 people gunning for it.
Nope.
well, no, we have one more we could then.
Chris, what do you have for 7?
I haven't been inviting, but Buffy. I'm sorry, you say Hannibal
You go
is
shit
not
the
better
hell.
than Buffy.
Chad, I know you're gonna just go with Hannibal, so
Thank you.
Buffy can't do it. Hannibal.
Chad.
Hannibal.
Yes.
Nick.
And what we do in the shadows, baby.
Hannibal.
My love was threatened. I have.
Yeah. This is them fine words, Chris.
Buffy is good, but Matt Mickelson.
And if you've only seen the first 2 seasons, like it only gets better.
yeah,
Second season's great though.
Season 2 is good. Season 1's probably the worst. And
I mean, see, if you hadn't said anything, Chris, maybe Chad might have said Buffy. You never know.
I would not don't bring up say anything else.
I did almost go with Buffy.
We have Fog. Now it's tough. Shoot. Okay, go with that.
Chad, what do you have for 6?
I'm gonna do Cobra Kai.
Nick.
What we do in the shadows.
Fargo. Chris.
Only because the last season was that good at the other season of Fargo.
JPO.
And WandaVision.
But Fargo is going to be 6.
Yeah, the Chris Rock season was not that good.
Did it make you want to slap him?
It's not too soon. It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's plenty of time.
Okay. Shit. That's a tough one. We're getting closer to
Just to recap what we've got left, we've got Buffy, Cobra Kai, Ash vs. Evil Dead, and WandaVision. And what we do in the shadows is still there as well.
Yeah, we got 6 more.
Okay, I go with this.
Nick, what do you have for 5?
I went with Buffy. That's what I said.
I went Cobra Kai. Chris,
I changed it to Buffy.
JPO,
Wait, hold on. So there's 2 for Buffy?
Yeah.
2 for Buffy.
Chad, what are you voting for? So we have
I don't think it works that way.
it can. What is Malcolm going to kick us out of here? What are you
Just
voting for?
go with what Malcolm said, I guess.
Oh well, shit! What did you say, Malcolm? I didn't listen.
Cobra Kai.
I think Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
Chad.
Cobra Kai.
Jordan, what do you had down originally?
Yeah, definitely. Can't prove it wrong.
But I thought somebody would have mentioned WandaVision before Cobra Kai, but we have talked about it.
I wasn't gonna do. I swear.
Because one have a weaker ending than Cobra Kai had the last.
Are you hearing that, Chad?
But Chad, what do you have for 4?
I already had it written down. WandaVision.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Nick, what do you have for 4?
I said Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Wait, what? Can't predict this man.
I'm sorry, Chad. I just haven't seen it. Buffy. Chris,
I only seen the first 2 seasons, Buffy. I saw you.
JPO.
Well, me and Chad agrees. I'll decide again.
Oh my god!
So Nick, WandaVision or Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Oh, it's gonna be Buffy because I haven't.
Oh, you know that ending was whack. You know that ending was whack.
I mean,
They could have said WandaVision.
it's better than an ending I haven't seen.
Can
I change the Ash versus the Evil Dead and you vote Malcolm? No, he wrote it already. Damn it.
And you could have put WandaVision in his place to Cobra Kai. Let me find out. Because that I would agree with you on.
Change television, guys. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
Democracy
What we have
alert.
left?
7 seasons of Buffy, but WandaVision's gonna. It's one.
Right.
Just saying, I haven't seen it. It's fine.
It's not fine. Go to it. Now.
Vampires.
And demons. There's more than just vampires.
I mean, it's one of those ones like maybe if I, eventually see Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I will look back as a
Highly recommend.
yeah. I was.
You'll write me in chat apology letters. I did not know what I was doing.
You're putting asterisks.
But Chris, what do you have for 3?
How much I love it, kind of put it to end. WandaVision.
JPO.
I mean, I wrote fan fiction for Buffy. I never wrote fan fiction for WandaVision.
Chad.
Twice.
I also wrote fan fiction for Buffy.
Yeah.
WandaVision.
One of mine was Giles turned evil and then became a book, and I still feel they stole it.
I did a whole thing where Xander and Spike just were roommates.
Nick, what do you have
yours
for
was
number
fun.
3?
Mine was evil.
I'm good with WandaVision making the top 3.
Yeah,
So, Vision.
I got one.
Okay, it make my number 1 easy.
So Evil Dead and
What we do in the
What we
shadow.
do in the shadows.
okay.
Oh, was Chucky said already?
Yeah.
Okay, I still had it on my list. So
Now
wait, now we're
right,
voting
number
for what
one.
we want.
Yes.
We want now. Okay. I think the right show will win.
My number one been easy since the very beginning.
I mean, it better be your freaking name on here. Why am I doing this like I'm on trivia?
But JPO, JPO, what is your number one?
So used to playing trivia, hands on screen. What do we do in the shadows?
Chad.
If we can't get my favorite vampire show of all time, let's get another one. What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
And Nick.
What we do in the shadows.
This show is the most devious bastard in New York City. What we do in the shadows.
Nothing saying we love you sending your last day on Earth by having a pack of dogs chase you on Super Bowl day. What we do in the shadows.
Superb Owl.
One of my favorite. The whole dog bit kill me every time.
I will say, based on what Nick said about what we do in the shadows, I'm totally expecting him to go Ash versus Evil Dead.
God, I'm happy with all of the musical shot out in the fourth season. What we do in the shadows.
I'm happy. If Buffy can't be number one, I'm happy with this being number one. I can make do with that.
Me too.
But with this, to recap our top 12, top 12 TV shows based on or spun out of movies. At number 12, we got Creep Show. At number 11, we have Andor. At number 10, we got Friday Night Lights. At number 9, we got Red Hot American Summer, the first day of camp. At 8, we got Chucky. At 7, we got Hannibal. At 6, we got Fargo. At 5, we got Cobra Kai. At 4, we got Buffy the Vampire Slayer. At 3, we got WandaVision. At 2, we got Ash vs. Evil Dead. And number 1 is What We Do in the Shadows. With that brings us to the end of another episode of Rankum. We'll be back next Sunday, which is the new day for Rankum. Chris, where can people find you online?
To find me here, you should find me here. You'll see me tomorrow on Full Metal Trivia for Actor Actresses from Full Metal Venom. Tomorrow. Yeah, I believe we're Jordan. And then you find me anywhere. You probably see me tomorrow, maybe on Jordan Show, if anything. But yeah, here to have fun. Happy to be back. I always love them. And loved it list. It's probably one of my favorite lists we put together a long time.
JPO, where can people find you online?
As Chris said, you'll be popping up tomorrow on Full Metal Random, doing some actors and actresses. Looking forward to that one. Thank you for letting me test those questions last week, Malcolm. Hopefully, I remembered all the answers. Maybe popping on here from time to time. Of course, catch me on my networks, the Piersco, movie trivia, some countdowns, reviews, and Pierce Wrestling, some wrestling trivia, interviews, stuff like that. And appreciate it.
Chad, where can people find you online?
Well, first of all, thank you for the platform to talk about my favorite show of all time, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, as well as Friday Night Lights, and a lot of great shows that we brought up today. This was a great list. But you can check me out over at, first I'll shout out my channel, Chadwick Webb, where we rank a lot of stuff. We've done Edgar Wright, MCU, just Christmas, Harry Potter, just everything. Horror, we've done Scream, Evil Dead, Halloween, and Nightmare on Elm Street. Looking forward to do a lot more rankings soon. I think there's a Star Wars one coming up. Check me out over at the Nerd Entertainment Network, where we talk. It's called Welcome to Primetime with my buddy Hunter and my wife Carrie, and we talk horror all the time. And we rank Buffy stuff a lot because Hunter is now watching the show and he's loving it. So love that over there. And then check me out over at the Dill Pickle Movie Network, where we do a show called Picture This. We talk Oscar stuff. So we go through the years of the Best Picture nominees, and we watch all those, rank them, we talk about them. We have a lot of fun doing that. And this month we're doing 2009. In fact, we're about to record that here soon to talk about Avatar, because Avatar: The Way of Water is coming out, and that should be a really fun discussion with 10 maybe great movies. I'm not sure. So yep. And thank you very much. This was fun.
maybe Avatar: The Way of Water will be the better Last Airbender movie. But Nick, where can people find you online?
It's not a high bar to clear. You guys can find me on the Iron Man 1993 channel. I do Power Rangers reviews over there. Hoping to get that started here pretty soon, or get back to doing that now that my computer's back up in shape. Really happy we did this list. If you guys are gonna do an animated one or a non-horror one, let me know. We can definitely do this again. It was a lot of fun.
But yeah, I probably will do a just animated one out there, but yeah. But that's not going to be next week. Next week, we Rankum is going to be the top 12 Christmas horror movies, and it should be really interesting for various reasons because apparently I haven't seen a lot of them. So I'll be doing a lot of work watching some.
Ryan,
But,
you never see me sign up.
The
but yeah, you can also find me over on Full Metal Trivia hosting random and there'll be actors and actresses coming out tomorrow with JPO and Chris taking on. Well, it's not a tag team anyway, but they're also going to be taking on Richie and Brian Nussbaum.
We got this, Chris. Going down, Richie and Brian.
I mean, Tim, we don't have teammates or anybody that will really get a challenge. Probably be.
And also we've got a Ted Lasso match coming up next Saturday.
That's gonna be my calendar for next year. 12 months of Ted Lasso.
But yeah, until next time, keep listening to shit.
Keep listening to shit. Wait, what?
I was going to go one way, then I went the other.
Stay shit. Good night.
I love you all.